Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Park and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting for October 17th, 2022. We do have a quorum, and I call this meeting to order. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second it.
I have a motion from Ms. Carol Haas and a second from Chuck Isabel. I wanted to call him Izzy.
It's okay, a lot of people do.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we'll get right into it. We got the Goblins and the Goodies and Zombie Night and Movie Night, and then Miss Kathy has got us a full gig next Saturday, so we'll start out with Miss Kathy, and she can tell us all about what's going on.
All right, so Saturday from 2 to 4 will be the Goblins and Goodies event at the park. We've got about 31 vendors signed up right now to have a booth. So that'll be from 2 to 4, and then starting at 5 o'clock, the Zombie Night with a dance-off. We'll have a DJ at the football field like we did last year. We are going to ask some of the board members if you want to judge the dance-off so we can determine who wins the first, second, and third. And then at 6 o'clock, we're going to do the Addams Family 2 movie, and the Senior Center will be there selling concessions.
How many vendors did we have last year? I don't remember.
We didn't have that many. A lot of the people said they didn't have enough staff. I think maybe 20 to 25 showed up. This year we have a little over 30. I think it's right at 31 right now.
Are we doing political vendors this year?
We do have political vendors, yes.
And I have to give props to David from looking at the weather, as good a job as he did with the other events that we've been having. Saturday, David, is supposed to be phenomenal. Now, I hope I'm not jinxing us, but if the past has taught us anything with the weather being like that, I'm sure we're going to have an abundance of children.
Well, I was going to pull up the weather this morning when I got to the shop, and I was instructed not to do so because we don't look at the weather on event weeks. It worked for OTF, so we're not going to look at the weather all week. We're just going to show up and play it by ear and see what happens.
Well, you know, OTF and National Night Out, everything has been so far been great. I don't even think that it's supposed to be cold Saturday night for the movie. It's going to be cool, but it ain't going to be like cold. So, does anybody have any questions about Saturday? All right, so we'll move on to, as we do every year, Veterans Day, November the 11th.
All right. The Veterans Day ceremony is November 11th at 11 a.m. at Veterans Park. Ross and Tabitha Howard and Pastor Randy Berg will be our 3 speakers this year at the event. And we have made the Facebook announcement to sell the flags for the field of flags. And then, of course, the bricks that are always on sale. So they still have time to get those to hopefully be delivered so we can have them on the wall by November 11th.
The bricks for the memorial wall?
Yes, correct.
I saw something on Facebook, but one of those was removed.
It was a blank.
Okay.
Yeah.
But those are always for sale?
The bricks are always for sale,
Okay.
$35. We get a rush around Veterans Day trying to get the bricks on the wall. And then right around Veterans Day, about the month prior, we open the flags for sale. And those,
Because the comment on Facebook, somebody, I guess, only had thought that they were not selling anymore.
Right.
So they're always for sale.
correct, they are.
Okay.
Is it just for veterans?
It is just for veterans on the wall, correct.
And
Veterans of the United States military, yeah, United States veterans.
will you guys be set up giving away your world-famous coffee, hot chocolate, and donuts?
Oh, yes, at Veterans Day, we will. We'll have refreshments that morning as well.
Okay. Any questions about that? And now we'll move on down to the Parade of Lights.
Okay, Parade of Lights is the first Saturday of December, which is December 3rd. And the parade will start at 5 p.m., start at City Hall, and then end in the park for the tree lighting ceremony. Chris Clark will be the grand marshal, and this year's theme is Fire Up the Holidays.
And anybody that's, happens to be watching this on YouTube that may not be familiar, who is Chris Clark?
He
Or you want me to answer that?
was, I believe he was the prior interim fire chief.
He was.
Yeah,
I
he
think
was-
interim was, but he was assistant and then interim, correct, before going to EMS in Rutherford County?
Yeah, he was
No,
our
he
fire
became our
chief.
fire chief.
Yeah.
Oh, so he was actual, okay.
He was our fire chief.
It's not on here, David, but I want to interject with it, just so I'll know, and maybe you got it planned for next month, but I just want to, because of the parade of lights and the lighting of the tree, what's the status with the ice rink this year? Am I jumping the gun?
Yeah, we're actually gonna try to install that the, week of Thanksgiving, we think. And then, do you have the dates? I didn't bring the dates with me on that.
December 1st would be the employee scape, and then it'll go December 2nd through December 17th. And it'll be available to the public, well, available Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
Okay, I didn't want to jump the gun, but I just wanted to make sure that we start getting the word out there, because I think that thing's going to be a huge hit.
Well, and you know, this year we're expanding, so it's gonna be 50% bigger. Last year, I think we did it Monday and Tuesday. We didn't do it on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we found out that the Monday and Tuesday, we really weren't getting a whole lot of traffic. So we're gonna do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this year and try that out.
You're gonna open it up where people can sign up when they get there? Because I know we had talked about it before.
In person, we're not gonna
Yeah.
do the pre-registration like we did last year.
Okay.
The only day that really filled up was the Winter Festival Day, and that was, traffic messed with some people getting there. They didn't get there allotted times. So we're still gonna open it on the hour, so you'll get an hour rotation, but it's first come, first serve. So if you show up at 12:30 and it's already at capacity, you'll have to wait till 1,
Okay.
so.
Is it too early, David, to put in an order for like about a 35, 40-degree night that night, or?
Oh, no, we're already working on that. Actually, I think this year, we have talked about, you know, we did the Winter Festival last year and kind of put everything in the front parking lot. Well, as y'all know, last year, it was a terrible day for weather that day. Rained a bunch of our vendors out, so we had 20-some odd vendors signed up, and I think maybe 5 to 8 showed up. I think we're gonna rent a big tent, maybe a 50 by 100, and put in that front parking lot, so the vendors can actually be under the tent, and then kind of light that up. In case we do have some bad weather, at least we can still have our vendors there.
Away from the tree.
Yes, in that, probably around that middle front, in the front parking lot, in between those two light posts.
I like that idea. And hopefully, we will get a good vendor that'll show up with coffee and hot chocolate.
Correct.
I'm sure we'll talk more about this next month, but it's on my mind, and I just wanted to, you know, because you guys worked hard last year. Y'all have any questions about the Parade of Lights? All right, we will move on to the Winter Festival.
Which, December 3rd, we're gonna have it from 3 to 8. We're gonna open it before the parade starts this year and have it a little longer for the vendors. We have the horse and carriage rides. We've got 2 horse and carriage rides coming this year that will take them up through the walking trail in the back of the park and do rotations that way. And we've already opened up the registrations for the arts and craft vendors for the event. And we are currently looking for a warm snack vendor, be it hot chocolate, donuts, something of that nature. So,
I'm just, is that something the senior center would do?
Well, they generally do, hot chocolate and cookies after the parade at the tree lighting. I think they're interested in doing that this year. I know last year they couldn't make the tree lighting, so they provided that at the employee family nightscape. So I think maybe this year they may be looking at doing both nights. It's something they've generally done in the past. I think they enjoy doing it if it fits into their schedule. I think they did mention, and I probably failed to mention it to Kathy, that that may be something they want to do. Even if we could find another vendor type, we've had several of those in the past. We had like a mini donut here at City Hall, and the senior center was still able to provide the free stuff also.
We want the mini donuts back.
They were supposed to be here last year, so,
Don't get me started, man. I was looking forward to it.
yeah.
I was just thinking, if the center's always been good about doing that, but if they could combine it to where it could be a minimal charge for a fundraiser and still, you know, good for the citizens, that it would be a win-win situation, something just to think about, you know. But, you know, I don't want to put them in there without, you know, but just an idea. That's what we're here for, advisory, you know. Any more questions about this? All right. So we're going to talk about the fall ball clinic.
And I'm gonna get Andrew to jump in here too. I think we finished up this past Saturday morning with kind of like a game day, kind of like a play day for all the kids that were involved. So we did have 4 nights of practice type sessions and then followed it up Saturday. 4 good nights, 4 great weather nights. We didn't have a rain out, so we didn't have to reschedule. A lot of participation. Saturday was a great turnout, and as some of you guys know, you guys were there to see it firsthand. Just to see the progress that those kids made from the first night to what we saw Saturday was night and day. Every night they showed up. Parents were great. Can't say enough about the parents and our volunteers. They showed up. You know, I'm sure there's a million things that the parents could have been doing those evenings, but they made sure they brought their kids to the park. So that's what we want. So from what we witnessed in those 4 weeks and Saturday, when the kids left, they were all excited about what was coming in the spring. Had parents asking us about the new league coming in. I didn't see a kid that did not leave with a smile on their face. So I think it was a good experience for everybody. Props go out to the coaches and volunteers, especially on the T-ball side, because I tried to do that for 2 nights, and I was like, I gotta have a vacation. Yeah, they were, you know.
It was like a Chinese fire drill.
Yes, sir.
And
So,
like many of y'all know, we're going through a transition where we're changing to the new league, and a lot of the parents want to volunteer with the new league. So I think just having the clinic and having the kids involved, they want to get involved also. So that was a great sign for us moving forward.
So the new thing that we voted on, that worked out for the,
That's what we're going to discuss next, yes. But a lot of the parents want to volunteer with that new league.
oh, okay.
So, yep,
Yeah.
they expressed a lot of interest in that over the past few weeks.
can't say enough about the volunteers. Sunny with Rock Springs Middle, she was huge on the softball side. First night, I think she showed up, she probably had 50 girls down there on that side. Brent Turner, you know, he kind of spearheaded the baseball side. Andrew and his guys had everything out there, so it was very organized for something that was kind of thrown together. I don't say thrown together because a lot of effort did go into it, but just to see the organization and the equipment was on each field when it was needed. It was pretty impressive for our guys to have our whole department jump in. And, you know, they're like anybody else. They could have been at home wanting to spend time with their family, but everybody in our department participated in all 4 nights. So, big shout out to them. Them guys are great. Kathy and Sheila, awesome. Andrew was on. I thought he was gonna wear himself to death on the shirts. He started ordering them like 2 or 3 months before they came in, so, yeah, we couldn't ask for a better turnout. I think things went off without a hitch.
I'll just add a little bit to that. You said thrown together. It's probably not the right word, but it was kind of a quick thing, and everybody involved did great. The park crew, Andrew whooping up hot dogs, man, it was, it was good. The kids were happy. Because, you know, most kids, now there's a few, there's always a few, but most kids, man, they just want to get out and play. And I guess we can just roll this right on into the next one, the ball league, and know that that's going to, and you used one word that I am really, really proud of, because let's face it, we've not seen it in a while, especially the last 2 years. You used the word organization or organizational. So that's something that, between that and another word, communication. It's
Yeah,
something-
and with that being said, I will turn it over to Andrew because him and Julia already have, they've got the communication down. There's been more communication before their contract has ever been in place than with any organization that has been up there since we have been here. So, yeah, I'll let him run that down.
Yeah, like David said, Julie and I, we probably speak at least once a week as of right now. But the last BOMA meeting, the board passed the RFP, which you all basically saw from the last meeting. And then the next month will be the user agreement. So that's just finalizing all the info that our agreement's set for the spring. And once that's done, they're good to go. So, but she's already pretty much toured the facilities. We've kind of expressed when signups are going to start, what our scheduling needs are, what their needs are. So we're moving right along. So
Yeah, what we want to do is provide them with whatever they need to be successful, whether that be them printing up flyers and us going out on a Saturday and Sunday and standing at the local supermarkets or Walmart and handing them out for them. We're willing to do that, to put their signs up. I'll be honest with you, man, I've been here 12 years, and everything in our department seems like it's trending in the right direction except for that ball league. So that has been a thorn in our side. So we're ready to
Amen.
turn the corner, and I don't see it not being successful. I just don't, because I know their passion is there, their heart's in the right place. They're dedicated to the kids of this community, and anybody that knows her knows that the basketball league, you know, it's a success. So we want to see that spill over onto the ball league side too. And I think we're heading in the right direction.
We
so-
talked to,
and so far, I think she's even went ahead and scheduled her board to go ahead and meet up there. So I think they're laying plans pretty quickly to get this up and rolling.
and I know you guys talked about the scoreboards, you talked about the sound systems, you talked about the little tweaking
The
things.
details that
The
the
details,
kids want to see.
yeah, that make a ball league excel, and she's, you know, I'm not gonna go over expectations, but she kinda knows what we're expecting, but at the same time, we've gotta stay humble and be realistic and grow it gradually. We don't wanna go in there and, you know, but now if it happens, hey, that's great. So, I'm excited. The board meeting with BOMA, once we do that, we can blow this thing out of the water and start talking about it. So,
Yeah, and you've referenced the scoreboards and the stuff like that. We want to make sure when they come in that they're not scrambling to figure things out. We want to make sure everything's working for them, whether that be freezers, if we have to replace some freezers. So it may take an initial investment on the city side just to make sure that stuff is up and running, but we couldn't expect an organization to come in and repair that stuff for us. So that needs to be ready for them once they come in the door. They don't need a headache of figuring out, well, I got two fields over here the scoreboards don't work on, you know. As a parent, if you go to a game, you want to see the scoreboards working. So, I mean, that's our goal as a department. Andrew's on top of that. Like, he's already met with Julia over, like you said, the PA system and the scoreboard. So there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to have that up and running.
now I'm not one to kind of live in the past, but I am curious about one thing. Well, I'm curious about a lot of things, but one thing, if it happens, who would handle it, or can we help? Can we go back to the days of where we used to get sponsors and hang their banner on the fence?
Now, their user agreement, they are able to go out and solicit businesses and put up sponsorships and bring in revenue that way. So any previous user agreement we've had has had that in there. That's just up to the organization. Now, I know that she's reached out, and I know she has parents that work at different companies here in Laverne that she's already had them reach out to. So I do know that that is in motion right now. So
Is that something that just Joe Public, us, whoever can,
You can, if there's people you think that would sponsor a ball league, I would definitely send them either to Julia's
I
direction.
know Giles got 2 or 3 in his hip pocket.
Well, Land of Frost
He
used to be a
does.
big one. They give out, the money's there. It's just the organization that had it previously, never reached out to them. When the city ran it, we had Land of Frost. I think when LBSA had it, maybe they had Land of Frost. So that organization's been around here, so there is some money out there waiting. It's just making the contacts.
How do we or them determine the size of the banner, how much the banner costs to make, and where do you get them made at?
We can get the banners made, whether we use Front Street Signs in Smyrna. I don't know if the vendor, like if, say it was Land of Frost, if they have stipulations, if it has to be a 3x5. I'm not sure. Kathy, do you know? Have you dealt with them?
I don't know. I think we gave out sponsorship packages that they chose.
and that might be
Pass.
something I need to discuss with her. Maybe her board puts in place of what a sponsorship package is, like a level, and then this is what you get for that level.
That's how we did it when we had it with the city.
So different size banners
Yeah, so
is a different
let's just say
size.
it's $250, you get a 3x5 banner or something like that,
Okay.
something. And
Yeah,
let,
'cause I'm like everybody else. I think everybody on this board in the city, it's got kids, you guys. I think we're all gung ho about this league, and we want it to excel. And if there's things that we can do that will help, 'cause if I'm not mistaken, the more banners you get, and the more donations you get, drives down the cost of the entry fee. And I know you all even talked about that, an early entry fee price as opposed to
I think she's gonna have early sign-up registration, and then her registration prices vary based upon what division you are in for your age, so.
all right, I'll
Yeah,
be
and that
quiet.
money's out there, like I think Land of Frost at one time, it may have been up to $10,000, 5 in the spring and 5 in the fall. As long as their name was on the back of a shirt or the front of a shirt, and you took the pictures and submitted it to them so they knew,
Oh, I
It
coached
doesn't
with
cost a
that.
lot of money to put their name on a shirt.
I coached then, I know, man. that
It's
was
still a
great.
lot to sponsor a complete team as long as their name was on it.
But if you all know anybody that's looking to sponsor kids, I mean, definitely have them reach out to the front office at the park, and we can send their info to Julia and USL and have
Yeah, and
them.
it doesn't have to be like you want to sponsor, you're a $250 sponsor or $500. If you could, I don't know what she's got signed up for a kid, but even $50 could go towards a kid, or, say, I only have $75 here, I'm like to put this towards sponsoring a kid somewhere down the line.
Do you all have, or does she have a template, some sort of,
I would have to get with her on that. I don't think she does right now. I know, like I said, she was supposed to meet with her board this past Tuesday, but they had some scheduling conflicts. So I can touch base with her on that and see what they can discuss there on their meeting and bring that back before you all, just to let you know next month.
all right, well, it won't be long, it'll be here, they'll be doing sign-ups.
Yeah, they have sign-ups scheduled for January and February, practices in March, and the games are right around the 1st of April.
All right, any more questions about the ball league? Well, Does anybody, well, let's just do it this way. We'll start with Mr. Isabel. Chucky.
Yep.
I know him good enough now, I don't have to call him Charles.
Only bill collectors call me that.
Do you have anything to add to this meeting?
No, I think it's been a good meeting.
Commissioner Davis?
So,
Davis.
we have some really good stuff coming up. I'm really excited about all of this. And also, every year, I'm excited to see how it's growing as well. But I also want to thank you all for all of your hard work. We help when we can, but you're pulling all the weight, and we want to thank you for everything.
Ms. Carroll?
Just to, follow up with Laura, thank you to the Parks and Rec Department, the whole group. I mean, y'all are awesome. You're personable to the community, and every event has more community participation. There's more people coming out, even from surrounding communities like Smyrna, Antioch, even Old Timers Festival. I talked to some people that came in from Murfreesboro. So the word's getting out that when Laverne has an event, it's top A number one. So thank you all very much. And again, I look forward to the events coming up for the rest of the year, and then January 1st will be around the corner and we'll be starting it again. So thank you all.
Mr. Giles?
Yes, I live in the Brookside community in Laverne, and one of our HOA guys came to me this week and asked about the park that they're building over there. So, just want to know the city's involvement in the park and their, what they like to do with it. They're very concerned over there about that park.
The Brookside Park?
Yes, sir.
David?
It is actually it's a TDOT grant, so we have to follow their steps that they put forward. So actually today, I think they just approved the minutes from the planning commission when we took it to the planning commission 3 months ago, I think. So, we got the grant, we are awarded the grant, but they did need that step added to their history, showing that we as a city did take it to the planning commission. So, it's set up over there. It's gonna be a walking trail. It's a play area, a swing area.
Yep, it's gonna have a parking lot, maybe 10 or 12 parking spaces.
Pavilion.
It will have pavilion, and the walking trail should tie into the existing walking trail that is behind the houses now.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna have like a youth multi-purpose soccer. We call it a soccer field. It's like a U8 soccer field, but it's not gonna be lighted, so it's kind of just be a multi-purpose field.
And that'll have a couple of benches. That'll be with that also.
Okay. What's the time frame before opening?
I think we have to use that money within 3 years. I would have to double check to see when the clock started on that. I think COVID threw everything behind, because this was actually started in 2020. But we really didn't get to go ahead to start moving forward here until probably within the last 6 months.
Is that the part that you're building? Is that the one we voted on, or is that somewhere else?
That is
I think you're talking about the Blue Cross Blue Shield grant.
yeah, that is another grant that is out there.
Okay.
That's totally different than this TDAC grant. That Blue Cross Blue Shield grant would be for a playground that we're proposing kind of over around the Hurricane Creek area, where the walking trail dead ends right now. But the one you're talking about, we brought before this board, I want to say in 2020, around December of 2020.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Cole, did you hear the question? I did not. He was talking about he was asking about the Brookside Park. Maybe you or Mr. Graham can update us on.
Sure. You want to come up with, so the Brookside Park had to go through Planning Commission and get approval, through Planning Commission. Then that, as well as the minutes of the approval, had to be submitted to the state. And so that has been submitted, and we're just waiting for them to release funds, and then everything starts. So it will have a pavilion, a ADA accessible playground, a soccer field, and some parking. And it is a pocket park designed for the local community, not a big Veterans Memorial Park, similar to how Mannequin Park is.
Well,
Got anything?
Giles lives over there in that area, and they were asking him about it, the community. So,
Discussion with the planning commission to increase the size of the car park, but looking at the grant, we decided to leave it as it is, because it wouldn't through money to be funded for the park as it would go.
Okay, thank you.
And I've gotten a few emails from some residents over there about, could we change out the soccer field for a, pickleball court? And, we actually have one over here with Veterans Memorial, so, whereas we don't have soccer, really a soccer field anywhere in the city. So right now it's staying with that.
Okay.
But, what other questions were they asking?
More so just concern about the neighborhood. It's a small community over there, you know, and this last phase, it's not connected to the other side of Brookside, so they're concerned about that kind of stuff.
Yes, it is designed to be pocketed, so small, something for that immediate community, not one of the larger parks. So, I was just over there, I know I've spoken with Kathleen, who lives on Condor, that backs up to where the park will be, and she even has some concerns about where it's at. But this has truly been a long time coming, because this was, Brookside Park was really established under Mayor Mosley, but it was just a walking trail that ended
Right.
to an open field. So there was no park, and our side of town really hasn't had anything other than the fire station.
Right.
So this is the start of that. We've discussed some other uses. I know there's one piece of property that's developing where they're giving the city some land, and that will either be for police, fire, or for the parks. And so, but it's moving towards these smaller pocket parks for localized communities, rather than just have something where you would see someone from over here, or, let's say McFarland Point or the Ridge. They won't be driving over to this ideally. This is just something that's, again, small for the local, community.
Awesome, thank you.
question for Mr. Coates, is this going to be a lighted park?
There was no lights.
No lights? Okay.
I don't believe there was any, electricity run to the pavilion.
No.
There may be regular, regular security lights, but.
At some point, we may install a couple of outlets and a security light there, and possibly a water fountain. We'd have to go back and look into the plan. Anything dealing with T-deck, if it's not on the front end, it's hard to get it on the back end. Because like when the mayor said, people asked if there were certain elements that we could change. I don't think we can go in there and do a big change like they're talking about, take that field and turn it into pickleball, since it wasn't proposed on the front end, because what they approved was our basic design that we submitted. Now, there may be a possibility inside those play zones to swap up some equipment, so it's not necessarily the equipment we proposed, but maybe something similar. But something as drastic as even, I think they would consider it drastic where maybe we wouldn't, is even building a bridge across that creek there to the other existing side. I don't even think we could do that, because that was mentioned, and it was like that was kind of taboo since it wasn't proposed on the front end. Kind of similar with kind of what we're going through with the help me out, Andrew.
Greenway.
The Greenway, where we're trying to extend it to the boat ramp. They said, anything you think you may want on there 20, 30 years from now, put it on the front side of it. If you build it on the front end, that's great. If you decide you're not gonna build it on the front end, but you wanna build it 15 years down the road, if it's in your initial plan, that doesn't have to come back for review. You can just go on to the next step. So that's kind of, I think, where we're at on that Brookside Park. Like the mayor said, the minutes have been submitted for the planning commission, so they're pretty much in their system. We're just waiting for the next go-ahead on the next step.
Giles, do you have any more questions about it?
No, sir, thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Miss Felicia?
Well, I would like to know when y'all find out what the signups are for the children for playing ball, because I personally would like to donate. And I would hope that our board.
Say it again, I didn't hear you.
I personally would like to donate for a child to play ball.
Jerry, you got that on film?
I've donated before, I just
I
don't
know
tell
you
people.
have, but I have got to give you a
But
hard
I
time.
I do hope that, you know, so that if there are any children that the parents can afford it, I would like to. And I would encourage our board to
Absolutely.
help
Yeah.
with that too.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Julia and get the prices on that and also talk to her about the sponsorship levels. So, and we'll have that for you next meeting.
Is that it?
That's it.
Only thing I'm gonna do is add to what Carol and Laura and them was saying is, and we come in here every month. I mean, let's say it. We come in here every month and we give you guys props and we thank you for the great job you're doing. There's really no words to say what a great job. We come up there, especially us Boma people and stuff, and everything is set up, it's fixed up. So, looking forward to this weekend, and going to be with the weather holding true, it's going to be crazy. Everybody knows that, and I hope all your vendors show up, Kathy, because I know when them vendors don't show up, you get
Yeah, it gets a little hectic.
it gets a little hectic. So we are having a meeting next month according to this, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Because we'd
We're gonna
said
have one
something
next
earlier.
month. I don't think we have one planned for December.
Okay. All right, so our next meeting will be November the 21st at 6 PM, same bat channel, same bat time. With that, I call this meeting adjourned.